At LV, our car insurance comes from the heart. That's why we've just launched our new multi-car cover. One policy and one renewal date means it's one simple way for you to save on your family's cars. So just imagine how much you can save by insuring 2, 3, or even more cars with us. To get your exclusive multi-car discount from the Which Insurance Provider of the Year 2017, go direct to lv.com. T's and C's apply.
Gamertag Radio is headed to E3 2017.
E3 is one of the biggest events for Gamertag Radio, and you don't want to miss this.
Join hosts Danny Pena, Paris Lilly, and Peter Toledo direct from the convention center floor.
What are the plans for Microsoft? We're going to see more new titles from Sony PlayStation. And how about Nintendo? Interviews, roundtable discussion, previews, hand-on impressions, and more.
E3 2017 coverage on Gamertag Radio.
June 11th through the 15th. GamerTagRadio.com or play.it/Gamertag.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen. Podcasting since 2005. You're listening to Gamertag Radio. With your host, podcaster Hall of Famer Danny Pena, the always opinionated Paris Lilly, and from outside of the norm, Peter Toledo. This is Gamertag Radio.
Here we go.
Welcome to Gamertag Radio, episode 667. This is your host, Danny, and joining me this week, the whole Gamertag Radio crew is up in here. Let's start out with Pete. Welcome back, Pete.
It's 4 days left before E3. I'm so the hype meter has started to jiggle, and like over the last 48 hours with everything that's come up, just as we get responses from requests and things that just over the last 48 hours, the hype meter went from, for me personally, I know you guys have already been a little bit more hyped, but for me, it jumped from like 25% to like 93%. And I'm just over the next 48 hours, as we get closer to the weekend, it's just going to be insane. I can't wait.
Dude, I'm super excited about this, man. So, and also we have Paris here in the house. Paris.
Hey. Yeah, how you doing?
What's going on, man? How's your hype levels? Is it better than last time?
With some recent news, my hype level has gone up a level, so I'm about at an 8 now versus a 7.
Wow. Okay.
And my
what was it? Yeah,
my
go for it.
My E3 starts on a Friday now, so I'm excited for that. It's gonna be a great opportunity.
So that's why your hype level just went up because of the event for Friday, or just E3 overall? Okay.
Well, hey, the event for Friday and certain DM sliding that happened right before this recording, that got me a little excited
too. Oh my God, I'm very curious about that stuff.
Oh,
man.
Me too.
Yeah. Awesome, man. So head over to gamertagradio.com or play.it/gamertag. And listen to our past episodes over there. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and other podcast directories.
Send us your feedback or questions. Give us a call at 786-273-7GTR. Email us at fanmail@gamertagradio.com or leave a message on speakpipe.com/gamertagradio.
All right, first thing first, let's talk about this Xbox Project Scorpio teaser, that E3 teaser that I've been promoting it now for like the past few days. Xbox been posting it now on Twitter, on Facebook, everywhere. And these are very short teasers, like maybe 5-6 seconds long. And there's like short little clips of like different stuff. And then you see like somebody like either turning on the Xbox and they get closer. You see the reaction of them playing the Scorpio and everything. But today, a lot of people picked up a lot of like hidden messages on those different teasers and stuff. So who wants to start with the first one that got your most like the attention for you guys?
I don't know. For me, just personally, I've been harping on wanting to know the date, I guess. So over the last 2 or 3 or 4 teaser videos that Microsoft released, for people that aren't aware, you can find them on X, you can find them on YouTube or what have you. But there's a series of videos being used, and in each one of them, there's, and this is, thanks to the people on Reddit and everywhere else, but everybody's been really digging into the hidden messages allegedly revealed within these trailers. One of them is on an outside tent by the Ferris wheel or something like that, and it shows 6/4. 6 greater than 4, alluding to the 6 teraflops versus 4 teraflops. So it's essentially them throwing shade, Microsoft throwing shade at Sony about the power of Scorpio. The second one is the one that's a little more veiled and a little more difficult to find, but once you see it, it alludes to X10S 101.317. So the people are taking the last part of that as 10/13/17 as the sale date for Scorpio. That actual date is a Friday, which has traditionally been a console sell date, and it's coming out prior to holiday season allegedly. X10S, X for Xbox, 10 for the Windows OS version, and S for Scorpio. So that's what, the internet has been ablaze over the last probably 8 to 10 hours of people freaking out over something like this. And if you take that X10S 101.317 code and put it into Google, the image that pops up is eerily similar to an old, and whether it's a real one or not, I still haven't been able to determine that, but it comes up to be what looks like an old advertisement for electronics, and it says something to the effect of price of this computer to be under $400. And so people are taking that as another stab and saying, this is what the price is going to be. Again, take these with a massive grain of salt. These are all, internet rumors and suppositions. Who knows? It could be true, but we can't validate or verify that until obviously this Sunday coming up when we're all at the Xbox showcase.
Yeah, and here's another thing too, Pete, that I've been reading also like through Reddit and also through NeoGAF. One person said that if you flip the 6 and the 4 is also April 6th, the day that they revealed the specs of Scorpio.
What's 6 plus 4?
So that kind of, and when you put 6 plus 4 is what, 10?
It's 10, which is the Windows operating system that they're on. So who knows? Again,
what else? And what else? October, the month of October.
That's right. Which blows your theory from last week or two, the last week or two out the water, because it's not a Scorpio thing. It's not tied to. No,
it's not a horoscope. But I did said that it could be either October or November. I'm not. I of course you're right about that part. Because in the horoscope sign, it says, I believe, like October 23rd or something like that.
Right. But that October 13th is well before the deadline for Scorpio. Oh, yeah. I know that. I'm a Scorpio. Yeah. So,
but yeah. Okay.
Just take the L. Just take the L, Danny. You were wrong.
I did say October. And I like, here's another thing, too, which caught my attention, too. What was it like a week ago? What game got delayed to October 10th?
Shadow of Mordor. Or was it Shadow of War?
Exactly. Just a couple of days before the launch, supposedly the launch of the Scorpio, if this is correct, if this is true. So
my only concern with that would be that Shadow of Mordor would be launching before the actual title. So I would think that Microsoft would want to launch this with a piece of hardware for people to buy. So that's just my talking point on the whole Shadow of Mordor link. But Paris, I'm itching to hear what your opinion and your thoughts are on this.
I mean, the fact that all this stuff comes directly out of official Microsoft marketing material, I tend to think, and again, it's all rumor speculation. We'll see on Sunday, but yeah, I mean, it coming out in the middle of October isn't the craziest thing in the world. And I said it before, I will say it again. If they can basically just take the loss and launch this thing at $399, you won't find one on store shelves all of 2017. I mean, it'll be a massive hit for them. It will be the megaton bomb for E3 if Project Scorpio is $399 with what we now know are the technical specs that will be in the retail hardware. So, I mean, it's exciting to see. I mean, I'll say this though, it almost could backfire on them if this isn't the case now. Like if it winds up being
that's true.
If it's $450 or $500, now people will complain because it's not $399, because now people are getting hyped up, assuming that's going to be the price point. So I would say to anyone listening, just temper your expectations and wait until Phil Spencer officially says it on stage at the Galen Center before you just go and assume. Because look, I'm gonna call you out, Danny. Danny on Twitter today, I was right, just screaming to everybody, And it's like, I'm like, you can't say you're right yet. You don't know if this is true yet. This is a rumor.
I think I'm right, man. I think I'm right. I don't care what he says. I'm right.
So, I will say this. I hope you are right. Scorpion. Because as gamers, we all win if you're right. Because this gives us a somewhat affordable console, which, like they said, will be the most powerful console ever made. And then it really comes down to the one and only thing that really matters. Games. Yeah. That's it. Just
games.
Put great games on it. There's no excuse to not pick it up at that point. If you can afford $399. But if that thing is $399, I will pre-order it right there in the Galen Center. I won't even waste time. We won't even be outside by the time I hit pre-order on Amazon.
And you know who was right too, Paris? We have to give him props for this one. Pete.
What was he?
He says.
What did he say?
Remember, what was it that he said about Scorpio? We were telling him, there might be another revealed event before E3.
Yeah, no, he was right. You
were right, Pete.
And it's official this time, right? no take backsies on that one. No, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, hopefully, if these rumors and these digs into made by the public are correct, everybody wins. Gamers win. Microsoft finally can shed the L sticker off of their forehead. And I think that $400 price tag is going to be so key and crucial to that. And like you said, Paris, with everybody's expectation and hype levels shooting through the roof just on this news, if it doesn't and it goes to be for $5,500, this could potentially be egg on their face as a result. So I don't know if 400 has always been their target number. Hopefully, this is just what the doctor ordered to get Microsoft back on track and back into the good graces. Now, my only concern is games. Fine, you've hit the price point, you've hit the technical specs that gamers want from a console PC, something that can take the place not of something like a 1080, but something that can get them close, right? Now, what are you going to put in there? What is going to convince players who want that PC experience? How are you going to convince them to jump and get your box and not spend that $400 on a 1080?
I think they got something, man. Because I don't know if you read their tweets here and there, or we follow them on Facebook. I've never seen them they seem like the employees. They seem very excited, man, about this E3. Very, very excited. They seem very confident. I think they got something that's going to surprise us, man.
Well, we know Aaron Greenberg is listening because he told me yesterday on Twitter. He's listening right now. Hi, Aaron. How are you? I'll see you in a couple of days, buddy. Scorpion.
First of all, Paris, you had a prediction for this episode, because that's one of the reasons why Aaron wanted to listen to it. He wanted to hear this.
Well, we're not at that segment yet, are we?
I mean, we could put it in there if you want.
See, there you go. There you go, trying to jump the gun. I was going to let the natural flow of the show go, and then you had to jump the gun on it.
All right, yeah, we don't have to do that. I'll edit that part. All right, so I think, I honestly think they're confident, man. I think something is up. And now my question to you guys is this: Sony, what Sony is going to do?
Do they have to
make the move? I think they are going to do one with the PlayStation 4 Slim, have it for $250. They know something is up, at least for a week, temporary price for that. The silver version or the gold version, right? 1 terabyte. Is it a terabyte?
Yes, terabyte.
For that
terabyte.
price?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. And plus the games, their first party games, super cheap. I believe it's like $40 for that week too. That's a big move, man.
Now, I just don't know if, and we've been saying, actually, I know more so Paris has been saying this, and not to put words in your mouth, but do they really need to react? Maybe. I just don't see that they've been successful all the way up to this point. by staying course, by not shifting, by not panicking and oh my God, this is gonna happen. Let's cut the wheel to the left, cut the wheel to the right, just because somebody else in the marketplace has done something. They haven't needed to. Why do that now?
Well, I think,
and actually more so the question is Scorpio that much of a threat to what Sony is doing now with PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro?
I don't think it is, to be perfectly honest with you. I think them cutting the price of the PS4 is a strategic move, which makes a lot of sense, to just do it right now. I mean, look where we are in the life cycle of the console. So for them to temporarily drop the price during E3, when we know all the attention is going to be on Microsoft because they have a new piece of hardware, it's just smart business to do it. But as far as them panicking and doing something crazy like at their press conference or something, I highly doubt it. They're going to stay the course. They're going to show the games that we know about, show a couple new ones, and then, show a little VR stuff, wave at the crowd, and then say, all right, it's 8:00. Get the F out of here and go somewhere else because we're PlayStation and you're going to buy all our stuff anyways, because that's where they are now, right? Mm-hmm. They just don't need to do anything that would be a PR nightmare. They just need to continue the momentum that they have and make Microsoft have to earn it and not just give it away. Because, I mean, if you think about it, that's what happened in 2013. 2013, Microsoft they gave PlayStation a layup. They were just like, here you go. We're just going to hand it to you. And they took full advantage of it. And here we are in 2017. And now we're getting Project Scorpio.
Do you think that Microsoft is also going to lower their Xbox One S for, let's say, $250 for during that week?
$199.
And announce it during 93?
$199. $199. Okay, I'll give you this. This is a mini Leo. This isn't the full Miss Leo. Part of my mini Miss Leo. I think they drop it to $199 and they make it permanent. That one's shocked me at all. If they don't do it at E3, by the time the holidays roll around, that's going to happen. That Xbox One S will be $200.
Permanent $199. That's pretty big. I think I can see that as a temporary move and put maybe $249 full. Like, okay, that's going to be the price for now, and then announce for Scorpio for $399. I could see that. $199 Paris is a little bit too soon for the Xbox One S. I think I'll be crazy if they do that. That would be huge.
Hey, well, if this other rumor is true, I think it's crazy as hell. Scorpio $399. So why should I be shocked that the One S is $199?
That is true. Oh my God. Yeah, man. Oh man, it's gonna be super interesting, man. This year's E3, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Super interesting, man. They don't need to lower the price. You think they don't need to lower the price for the PlayStation 4 Pro now that?
No, I do.
Everybody knows.
I do. I think $350. I think that's fair. That's a fair price. Been out for lowered to $350. Done. Now, hey, look, especially now that's one scenario where I think that does forces Sony's hand. If Project Scorpio is $399, I think they have no choice but to lower the price of the Pro, because then Microsoft can easily market against that and go, look what you can get for the same price. We're more powerful, blah, 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 true 4K, all that for the same price. That then forces Sony to have to drop the price of the Pro.
If we go to the Xbox press conference, how should Microsoft start off the show? Scorpio. And that's the price and date, and then games, or games and then Scorpio in the middle, and so on.
I think,
or Scorpio later.
I think they show Scorpio, give it the name, but then they end the show with the price and the release date.
I like that setup, and show all the games that you could play 4K.
Yep,
that's good. You, Pete?
I want to say start off with the games. Start off with the games, drop the Scorpio information. You want to build up that lead. You want to build that up. So you start it up with the games, you crescendo with the Scorpio information, and then just as everything starts to taper down, right at the end, they drop the like an unannounced IP or something that nobody was expecting. Who knows? This might be the perfect segue for Paris's Miss Leo prediction.
Hey, but wait, what about me? I'm not going to say anything.
Because you asked us.
Well, you already said what you got to say on Twitter today. I was right.
Fake news said. All right. No, I think that Microsoft should start off with the show like this. We go in, show a big, huge surprise title that nobody was expecting, then talk about Scorpio, talk about a little bit about the specs or whatever, and then at the end, like Paris said, the price and release date at the end. Once they hype the crowd with all those games that's coming out for the Scorpio, then boom, here's the release date, and you get this for $399, and boom, just end it like that. Or maybe they'll say, and we have one more announcement after that, probably. Either a big, huge exclusive title. I hope they don't show Halo or Gears, because I want people to also feel like, man, they're not depending on that so much. Look at all these games that has been announced. No Halo, no Gears. I think that would be good. A great move if they manage to do that. But I have a strange feeling they're gonna show something that we already know from those two games. Paris, don't you want to do your little Miss Leo prediction?
Well, you sure as hell didn't set me up for it. You just stopped talking and had dead air.
See, Danny, that's how you do a segue. You bring him, you guide him in, and then it flows straight through. You don't just drop out with dead silence.
All right. Here goes. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Paris' last E3 2017 predictions.
Hey, darling, this is certified psychic Miss Leo. Now, I can usually tell you things about the future by using the power of my tarot cards. But when it comes to video games, only the guys at Gamertag Radio can give you the E3 predictions. Ya hear me?
Okay, so I think this got hyped up more than it probably should. But since Aaron is listening, I guess I got to try and deliver. Okay, so here's what I think. I got three different predictions. So my first one is, I think the Xbox Live store interface, everything that you can do on the console, is going to be on Windows 10. And that's how they're going to revamp the Windows 10 store to make it more viable and more desirable for people to pick up games on the Windows 10 platform. Whereas right now, when you look at it compared to GOG or Steam, I mean, it looks half baked. It doesn't look anywhere close to the presentation, the UI and everything that those online digital stores can have. So I think they're going to bring the Xbox Live experience to Windows 10 for digital downloads and things of that nature, right? So that's one. Mm-hmm. My second one, which I'm sure Danny will probably disagree with me and say I'm being salty or something, but Crackdown 3 is not making it in 2017. It's going to get delayed till 2018.
Oh, man. I hope that's not true, man.
I mean, think about it. They've not been talking about it at all. Some of the E3 events surrounding Microsoft, as far as having hands-on with games and things like that, no Crackdown 3. Why? At this point, it should be a showcase. You should be showing it off. You should want people to get their hands on and play it. I don't think it's at E3 at all. I don't even think they talk about it at the press conference, just like last year where it went missing in action. Wow. Which
2014 is when that was when that was revealed. So yes. You're thinking,
and think about it.
Do you think that's because it, and maybe this is a perfect way to eventually segue into the discussion. Do you think what happened to Crackdown 3 is what happened to Mass Effect Andromeda?
Well, I'm not done with all my predictions, so we're not segueing into Mass Effect, Pete. Jesus. Who are you, Danny, now? You just cutting me off and trying to steer the conversation somewhere else.
I'm trying to set up the alley-oop, but if you can't get up off the ground, it's not my fault.
Oh, bro, I can get up off the ground.
You know what happened? You know what happened, Paris, is FSU, man.
I know, because he's one of us now. He's a Knoll now, and he hates it with his Knoll dad shirt. I love it. Love it. Okay.
House divided.
Table that to after I give this final thing, and then we'll come back to that, Pete. So my final thing is, I think, and I've been talking about this before, but here's my last final prediction on what it's going to be. That game that Black Tusk showed at 2013 at the Xbox press conference of 2013, which Black Tusk wound up becoming the Coalition and did Gears. That game still exists. Another studio has been working on it. That is going to be the new secret Megaton Bomb exclusive game, and it comes out in 2017. I think that happens. I think that's the thing that they're going to showcase Project Scorpio with. Whatever that concept game was from Black Tusk, it's not going to be Banjo. It's not going to be Perfect Dark, even though I wish it would be. It's going to be something else, and it's going to be a new IP for Microsoft exclusive, and it's going to have some crazy online features, and everyone's going to go crazy over it. That's what I think. And those are my predictions.
There you have it, folks. There you have it.
Welcome to Play It, a new podcast network featuring radio and TV personalities talking business, sports, tech, entertainment, and more. Play it at play.it.
Take it out.
You're listening to Gamertag Radio.
Now, do you guys want to guess like the name of the product, of the final product?
Oh, can I throw one side one in, and then I'll give you what I think is going to be called. Another side one, because I just been noticing on Twitter, Rare employees are really been hyping up Sea of Thieves and just saying how excited they are to show the latest build at E3 and represent the company, blah, blah, blah. As down as I was on Sea of Thieves, I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised by it at E3 this year. It's going to come a long way. And I'm not saying it's going to be a Destiny or something crazy like that, but I think it's going to have... we're going to be pleasantly surprised, and it's going to have a nice niche to it. And we're actually going to be like, oh, I think I want to be a pirate. I think I want to play this game. I think that happens.
I hope so.
I hope so too. I hope so too.
That's good.
Now, what I think is going to be called, I just think it's going to be called Xbox One Elite. I think that's it. I think it's that simple. Xbox One Elite. Done.
Xbox One Elite. That makes sense. You, Pete?
It fits the Elite controller concept.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm not the marketing guy, so I don't know. I'm kind of plain Jane on stuff like that. So I just don't know. I don't think it's going to be Xbox One S Ultra or something like that. I think they're just gonna, they're gonna piggyback on the established Elite controller as being the premier controller for gamers. So they're gonna they'll just the Xbox One Elite. I think it's easier. It rolls off the tongue. It's not Xbox 10S Elite. It's easier to say.
Paris.
I agree with Paris.
Paris was like, yo, if that's the name, Xbox 10S, he's gonna boo.
Oh, you're kicked out of the Galen Center.
Yeah. That's another way I can get kicked out of the Galen Center, because I will go, boo, you stink, Phil, boo. That's what I'll do.
But the thing is, too, does it matter the name of the product though? Because remember the first time we heard about the Wii, we were like, huh? And also when Apple named the iPad, a lot of people were making fun of that too. So, and both were very successful products. Do you think it's very important to have the right name for this product?
Yes and no. I think ultimately no, because like for what you're saying, ultimately those products were fine and were huge successes. I think in the short term, yes, when you're trying to build some goodwill and get people back in your camp and excited about your product, to give it a silly ass name called Xbox 10S, that's going to turn a lot of people off and you're just going to get bad press. So, dude, there's no way. There's no way in hell they're going to call it Xbox 10S. Xbox what? Xbox One 10S? Is that the name of it? It's too many numbers.
Something like that. Yeah, too many numbers, and it's too long.
Yeah.
But wait, I think it could also be Xbox Elite and just remove the one. That's possible too.
Let's go back to something I said about a month and a half ago. Remember, I was thinking about it, because remember, I kept saying forever they're going to take Xbox One out of it. They're going to call it Xbox something. But then I told you I was in a store and I'm looking at the packaging. The fact that the same games play on the Xbox One, play on Scorpio, they're not going to have different gaming brand. They're not going to have a different branding because the games work universally across the entire Xbox One family, right? So you don't want my wife walking into Best Buy going, "What now? Which damn game am I supposed to get? The Xbox One or the Xbox 10 X12?"
Hey, let's remember who sat outside in the freezing cold during the holiday season. She's not going to do this. Let's just be real.
What are you talking about?
It's going to be you standing outside.
What are you talking about? I don't even know. Pete just went a different direction. I don't even know what he's talking about.
No, for the Switch, you sat outside waiting for it. Your wife.
That is 100% false. There is no way in hell I stood outside to get a Switch.
NES Classic.
Yes.
Oh, the NES Classic. That's right. Sorry about that.
Yo, Pete,
it's true.
You lost us there for a second, man. I think it was that last trip, Paris. That trip messed him up.
I think so, man.
We want Pete back.
And as soon as E3 is over, I fly directly back to Tallahassee to move that boy in.
I know, man. Get the fight song right.
Oh no, dude. I will say, and I sorry to tangent off, but during freshman orientation, they forced the students and the parents to do it, and the first time. They were like FLO. I was just sitting there, just being quiet, like MIAMICANE, Canes. My son just looked at me like, really? But he was so jovial and enthusiastic about the entire experience. He was actually part of the new students and family program, Snapchat, doing the whole thing. But whatever. Let's just get back to video games.
All right, we have a sponsor for this week, Western Digital.
Yeah, shout out to the good folks over at Western Digital. They hooked us up right as we were getting ready to do this. I actually had to put my PC build on hold because I was going to upgrade it. Upgrading it with Western Digital Blue solid state drives, Western Digital hybrid solid state drive. So I'm throwing in a 4 terabyte drive in there. Looking forward to doing that because I'm going to be doing some additional audio work and maybe a little bit of surprise for the people, for our listeners post E3. But big shout out to them. Thank you for everything you guys have done for us so far. I'm looking forward to this collaboration between GTR and Western Digital. So with Western Digital, you're now able to get solid state drives and hard drives that fit your unique needs. And when you add the superior performance of a WD solid state drive to your PC, you get blazing read speeds so you can boot your system quickly or load games and other applications in a snap. Combined with a reliable WD hard drive, you get up to 6 terabytes of storage to keep your games library, direct feed video, podcasts, and more all in a single place. And for a limited time, Gamertag Radio listeners can get 20% off WD SSDs with a coupon code WDGTR. All you guys have to do is go to WD.com/GTR and you guys get the hookup.
Yeah, man, let me tell you, take advantage, listeners, because this deal is limited time offer, and you're not going to find this nowhere else. So make sure to go to the website and put the promo code up in there, man. Take advantage of this.
Yeah, and I have to.
Thanks to. Yeah, go for it.
No, I was going to say I have to add in as well. Like Pete alluded to, Western Digital was kind enough to send us their 4 terabyte SSHD hybrid drive. And after E3, I plan on installing it into my PC because now that I've been getting into doing more video editing and everything, I just need the space in the room, and I want to do like some 4K game capture of things. And I've been looking at file sizes, and I'm like, oh Lord, I need some hard drive space. And this is the perfect opportunity to expand my hard drive space with this 4 terabyte drive. So I'm really looking forward to doing it. And like I said, thanks to Western Digital for sponsoring us, especially during E3. And I'm sure we'll be talking more about it throughout the summer.
Earlier today, Paris posted on our chat and also, I believe, on our Discord channel and on Twitter about an article about Mass Effect Andromeda. Paris, what happened that you were so like pissed? Not pissed, but you were like, what? This is why I was right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. First of all, don't put emotions into my mouth because I wasn't upset at all. I was.
It was only caps.
I pulled a Danny and I ran on Twitter and I was like, "See, I was right. because no. Jason Schreier from Kotaku again. He's a fantastic reporter. He did some work and he got the story behind the entire development of Mass Effect over the past 5 years. And just like I thought, At one point, they started completely over. They basically made Mass Effect Andromeda in the last 18 months. And that's why I went on Twitter and said, I was right. There was no way this game was truly in development for 5 years, and this was the final product, which, look, again, it's a damn shame. I know someone had asked me, I think on a Facebook Live or something, if I was going to revisit Mass Effect Andromeda. At this point, I have no desire to play that game, especially after reading this article, because BioWare didn't know what the hell they were doing. They had some great concepts. There was a lot of politics that happened in the studio. There was basically some infighting where it sounds like the Edmonton studio was trying to poach talent from the Montreal studio to work on other projects, and just all the concepts they had never got off the ground. And then ultimately they rushed to the finish line and we got what we got. So why would I invest my time and effort into this Mass Effect Andromeda when the studio that made it isn't even, vested in it? And, they basically moved on and they've shelved Mass Effect, the franchise, indefinitely until they can figure out what the hell they're going to do. So, yeah, I mean, it's a shame because I was a huge Mass Effect fan back in the day. But like I said, man, my spidey sense started tingling that last 6 months. And I go, why are we not seeing anything from this game? And then when we did start seeing things from the game, I'm like, this doesn't look right. And then, it is what it is now. So unfortunate, but again, lesson learned. And hopefully these studios, when they're investing all this money and effort, they'll realize it's better to delay something than to try and rush to meet a self-imposed deadline. I'd rather them come out and said Mass Effect is going to be delayed another 2 years because we want to get it right, versus them giving us what we got here in 2017.
Yeah, I don't see myself buying the game at all, man. I tapped out a long time ago. And especially coming from Paris earlier this year, him saying, I don't know, man, something is not right about that game. It made me pause for a second, like, man, you know what? I am not going to buy this. I think I'm going to wait and see what happens. And then after a while, I mean, I heard the game eventually, like later in the game, it gets better. But it's like, there's no motivation for me to buy the game now, man. I'm like, I'm just going to move on, play other stuff, and so on. So what about you, Pete?
It's disheartening. And what's funny is there's the reviews of the game pre and post patch have changed. And the fact that it sits at like a 70 or something like that on Metacritic, which is still an above average game after an 18-month build. Imagine what could have been had they stayed 5 years on it. This could be the game that everybody was expecting. And, I don't know. It's just, it's a shame that something as revered and as anticipated as Mass Effect Andromeda had this happen to them. Goes to show that, like we've said, the loss of the doctors and Casey Hudson really, really changed the face and changed the shape and future of BioWare as a whole. I don't know. I want to temper my knee-jerk reaction to finding out about this. I want to let it marinate a little bit more. I actually want to still play Mass Effect Andromeda. Talking to my son about it, actually on a 7-hour drive, you find things to talk about. And this was one of the things we talked about. He's on his third playthrough and he's enjoyed it a lot.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's when you hear those stories of enjoyment of this game that has had the missteps that it's taken over the last few months, but hear that it's still a solid game, regardless of whether it's pre or post patch. It's post patch and it's still got a solid response, even though some people may not have had that initially. I still think it warrants a personal return to the game or a personal visit to the game in the first place. Like in my case, play the game and form your own opinion, because who knows, it could still be a great game. We're letting the stories and the experiences of other people guide and judge and force their judgment upon us. Play the game. Who knows? I would like to play this after E3 at some time, at least before the end of the year, because I think it deserves that much because of the history of Mass Effect.
Buy it for me then, Moneybags.
I already did that, and you ain't even touched it. So I'm done with you.
Okay, there you go. Telling people to spend their money on a game that most people are saying is crap. Hey, I'm not doing it. No.
All right, let's move on. Now, this is going to be my last topic because honestly, next week we're going to have a lot of content for the listeners and stuff. So here's one topic, and this is a very interesting one. Remember, was it 2 years ago when Microsoft announced that now you could play your 360 games on the Xbox One now? You can play that, right? So I was reading an article that I don't know if it's actually true, but I read that I think it was what's the name? Ars Technica?
Ars Technica.
I think it was Kyle that wrote this article, but he did some investigation and said that there's a lot of people that don't actually play that on Xbox One, right? And it's during the same week, one of the Sony execs saying that was like the most requested feature for the PlayStation 4. But he said, I can say it as one of those features that is much requested, but it's not actually used much. So do you think that it is true that people are probably not playing the old games, they're just going to focus only on the new games? Or do you think it's a waste of time to actually add that into the new consoles where people could play the old games again? Anyone?
Oh, I was going to let Pete answer.
Oh no, I've been jumping into these conversations, so I figured I'd give you the chance. I didn't want to pull a Danny and just jump in, but
actually, wait. He said one more. He said, I forgot to add this one. He said he goes on with this. Him talking about this. He said that, and I was at a Gran Turismo event recently where they had PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and PlayStation 4 games, and the PlayStation 1 and 2 games that it looked ancient. Like, why would anybody play this? Ouch. That's kind of the diss for the old games, man. But go ahead.
I don't know. Me personally, at the end of the day, like I said with the Mass Effect discussion stuff, you should play as a gamer. If you want to check it out, play it. For me personally, once I'm pretty much done with a game, I rarely, if ever, go back. I can only name 2 in the past recent history that I've done this for. Destiny being one of them, the second one being BioShock Infinite. So just for me personally, I very, very rarely go back to the older games. That doesn't say that, Johnny down the street doesn't do that. I know, Danny, you talk about you play these the older games all the time.
All the time.
Yep. Nintendo Classic is a great example of people who still feel that nostalgia requirement to go back and play things, right? So again, it's subjective. It's personal opinion. If that's something you want to do, and apparently, Mikey Barra even said it, there's still a market for it. People still want to do it. And actually, I'm going to go back. The third title that I've done that back with was when they announced Black Ops on a back compat for Xbox One. I went back and I played it for like 2 weeks, but that was it. Right. So that's not something that I do very, very often. I like to, my new crack right now is PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and hopefully that stays out at least till Destiny 2. But I've had so much fun with it. I hope that it continues. Will I go back to something like Call of Duty Ghosts or Uncharted 3 or something like that? I don't know. I can't say that I will.
I've done that with maybe like the RPG games for the Xbox 360. There was a lot of RPGs there. So I've done that. Of course, BioShock, Borderlands, I play those too. And especially like the Nintendo games, I play a lot of the old ones, the NES Classic. I also have a couple of Sega Genesis games that I love, like Streets of Rage. I still play that and so on. So, yeah, I mean, there's people that are not like me. They just probably move forward and just play the new games and that's it. But there's a lot of people that are like me that love to go back and play those old games too. So, Paris, what about you, man?
Yeah, I'm one of those people. I just keep it moving. I'm not big on the backwards compatibility stuff, but I understand its importance and why people want it. So, I mean, I'm fine with it that Microsoft does it, and I hope they keep doing it. And if anything, Sony needs to adopt it as well. That's, again, I shouldn't say that as far as the backwards compatibility, because on the Nintendo front, that's probably my biggest attraction to something like the Switch, because there's so many iconic games from Nintendo that I want to go back and play. But, on the PlayStation and Xbox, I don't see me really going back playing the older games. Like even something like when Microsoft put out that Halo Master Chief Collection, I played Halo 2, Halo 3 for a little bit, and then I was like, all right, I'm done. And then I just went back to modern games. You know what I mean? So, but I get it. It's very important, and I don't think that Sony exec should have dismissed it so easily. If anything, they need to get it going on their system.
Yeah. No, and you're right too. It's like, why would he say that? And at the same time, they're trying to promote PlayStation Now. You're basically hurting that product too by saying that.
Yep.
It just doesn't make no sense. I don't know. No sense at all. All right, man. But I know we're gonna wrap it up here because we want to get ready for E3 and so on. But what is it? The one thing that you guys are so excited to see at the event, of course, besides your friends and besides all that stuff, but what is it like that you're super, super excited to see? Let's go with Pete first on this one.
I am looking forward to checking out games that are outside of my comfort zone.
Good answer. What about you, Paris?
I'm excited when they announce Splinter Cell at the Xbox press conference and I get to jump up and go, I was right.
Let me dream.
That's actually a good question. It's Project Scorpio. I'm so curious to see what this entire presentation is going to be from Microsoft. I mean, that is truly going to be my most exciting thing to see at E3 this year. But I would say if there was an individual game, it's going to be Wolfenstein from Bethesda. That's the number one game I want to see at the show.
Well, for me, it's just the reactions because of the announcements from different companies. I love hearing the crowd going crazy. Like, for example, when they said $3.99, I'm going to look at Paris. Paris is going to pick up his phone, go to Amazon app, and pre-order the product right away. I see that happening, man. The same thing he did during the PlayStation 4 announcement at their press conference. He picked it up, $3.99, cancel the Xbox One version, and pre-order the PlayStation 4. So that's going to be fun. I'm excited, man. Hopefully they'll announce a new Battletoad game. I've been saying this now for a while. Hopefully that happens. And Perfect Dark, man. I think it's time to bring back Perfect Dark right now, man. Surprise us with that one big time. Big time.
Can I say one last thing?
I know what you're going to say, but go ahead.
And then I'm not going to say it then. I have nothing to say. All right. End the show.
What, you're going to talk crap about Battletoads?
Yeah, it's going to be a flop. They better not. They better not do that. That would be a mistake. Don't do that. It will be Sunset Overdrive all over again.
No, stop dissing Sunset Overdrive.
But it's the truth. I'm just telling the truth. Why can't I tell the truth? That's how I feel. That's not salty. I'm happy. I'm just telling you.
Fake news. Fake news. Wrong. Fake news. Move on. There you go.
You done?
Yeah, I'm done. Don't you ever diss Sunset Overdrive. Shame on you, Paris and Pete. You're into this too, Pete. Talking crap. But anyways.
I didn't ruin the game.
Hey, you guys never played it, so.
Actually, I did.
Paris only played for like an hour and he stopped.
Game.
You finished the game?
No. I don't finish trash.
You beat bosses in the game? You beat bosses? No.
I don't
Let me move forward.
I threw out the trash.
Oh, God. All right. Head over to gamertagradio.com or play.it/gamertag, and you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Spotify. We're everywhere. Just subscribe because we have a lot of content that's coming up during E3 2017.
Send us your feedback or questions. Give us a call at 786-273-7GTR. Email us at fanmail@gamertagradio.com or leave a message on speakpipe.com/gamertagradio.
And that's about it. We're going to wrap it up. Until next time, see you this Sunday, June 11th. A lot of content's coming live from Los Angeles. Until next time, we're out. Peace.
Thanks for listening to Gamertag Radio. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.